We have 7 participants now.
Okay, let's start. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Mariana Macedo Marques, Senior Marketing Manager here at ESMT Berlin. And today I'm joined by the admissions expert for the part-time MBA, Sira. Thank you for
Hi,
joining me, Sira.
my pleasure. Yeah, just a quick intro. My name is Sira. I'm part of admission team here at ESMT Berlin, taking care of the MBA program. So yeah, I'm here to pretty much share with you the details of our admission requirements for part-time MBA programs here at ESMT Berlin.
Great. Before we start with the Q&A, I will shortly do a presentation about the program. If you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to use the Q&A section on the bottom of your screen. You just need to type in your question, and after the presentation, then we will go through the questions and then officially be in the most exciting part of this webinar, which is the Q&A. So I'll just share my screen now. Great. So welcome to ESMT Berlin. This is our mission. From the heart of Europe, we create and impart new knowledge to advance business and society, and we develop entrepreneurial leaders who think globally and act responsibly. Here you can have an overview of the companies who founded ESMT Berlin around 20 years ago. So the reason why we came to exist is because these companies, they weren't really satisfied with the quality of the MBA graduates that they were getting from other schools. And plus, they wanted to create a German business school that were together in the rankings with the most prestigious schools across the globe. So they decided to create ESMT Berlin. And these companies are also present in our career fairs, in our events, and also in the beginning they were really present creating the curriculum that was relevant for the market as well. And now talking specifically about the part-time MBA, this is a program designed for professionals that are working full-time but still want to get an MBA degree. So the program is delivered in a blended format, meaning that in 75% of the program, you will be online with the flexibility of the online environment and asynchronous lectures, and 25% you will have in person with the possibilities of networking in our campus in Berlin. So this is a 2-year part-time program starting every year in September, focused on general management and business innovation. We have over the 2 years 14 residencies. The first one and the last one is a 1-week residency, meaning that you have to take a full week out of office. And all the 12 residencies in between are weekend residencies. So you start your lectures at Thursday night, on Friday and Saturday as well. Meaning that in those 2 years of program, you need to spend only 28 days working away from the office, sorry. And here on the right side of the screen, you can have an overview of the most common industries that our students come from, and the class that started this September with an average age of 32 years old, 24 nationalities, 41% women, and 71% international. Here you can have an overview of the curriculum. We divide the curriculum in different modules. In each modules, you have courses that are structured to answer to a business problem. So you have here the different modules that you have over the 2 years. First, you start with the preparation, foundation, pillars, structure, monetization, connections, and customization. And then here in the end, you have the electives and also the 1-week international study tour. So this international study tour, the students can decide together on the destination, and they also can contribute to the curriculum of the week. And now talking about the topic of today's webinar, admissions requirements. So we will get into detail during the Q&A section, but what we ask for is at least 3 years of professional work experience, postgraduate work experience, We also will ask for your bachelor degree or equivalent with your academic transcripts, completed application with scholarship essays, 2 professional recommendations, and some sort of test score. We accept GMAT, GRE, and we also have our own admission test. We will get to more details later, and also English proficiency. Applications are open to start in September next year. The next deadline that we have is February 10th. This is the first round of application. And if you apply by this deadline, you automatically qualified for an award of 6,000 euros in addition to any scholarships awarded. So thank you very much for the attention in this short presentation. And now we are back to the Q&A section. So Sira, thank you very much for joining me. So
Pleasure.
we'll start with the first question before we get to the audience questions. So talking a little bit about the class in the cohort, what can the students expect? I said a little bit about the average age and years of work experience, but what is usually what the criteria the admissions team look for in a candidate?
Sure, definitely. So I think I like to start with the class size. Sorry. At ESMT, we tend to have a very small class size because we want everything to be very interactive. So you can expect your part-time MBA class not exceeding 50 students. So I think it's a very nice number. So you get to know each other and everything. And like Mariana said, that even though the minimum requirements for our part-time MBA is 3 years after graduations, but we see normally what our students bring is around 8 years of work experience. So you can expect your classmate to be around 30, 31, 32, 33 years old. And since MBA, we accept students from any academic or work experience background. So it's going to be very diverse. However, we tend to attract, I would say, like certain types of students. So I think most likely you can expect your classmate maybe around 25 to 30% coming from STEM. They're already working in STEM's background, like IT, engineering, or something like that. But the rest, it's pretty diverse. In terms of nationalities and the location, since part-time MBAs, you kind of like have to be with us every 2 months. So you will pretty much see that your classmate, around 80% would be already based in Germany. And we have like a very brave candidates, another 20% that actually residing in the surrounding European capitals like in Poland, in Czech Republic, that kind of travel to Germany. But yeah, most likely a lot of them will be already based in Germany, and we actually have around 24 nationalities in every in our part-time class.
Thank you very much. Now, talking a little bit about the GMAT, GRE, or the ESMT admission test, we received an anonymous question. Is an
Yes.
online GMAT valid for application?
Yes.
Yes. And is there any possibility to skip the GMAT, GRE, or ESMT admission test if the candidate meets some criteria? Is this possible?
Yes, so we have this, I would say, like a GMAT waiver available, and it's very straightforward, it's very easy. So we are looking at the candidates who already studied STEM subjects during their bachelor or master. And STEMs can be, of course, various subjects, but we are talking about medical, IT professional, technology, sciences, and engineering. So sometime a lot of you might like, oh, is my subject like STEM subject? So what we recommend is that reach out to me or our team, just like, hey, I graduated from this XXX bachelor, this is my transcript, can you confirm? And I normally take 1 or 2 days to get back to you. What we need to check on our side, when, for example, the name of the subject is kind of like borderline, is that we want to check whether you have enough quantitative subjects in your transcripts or not, and we can get back to you. But for example, if you have this, I would say, like traditional STEM background in your bachelor, like electrical engineering, computer science or
mathematics, physics.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that
So
is
like
pretty much
very
straightforward.
hardcore quantitative.
Exactly. But still, just send out an email. Hey, I graduated with this and this. I would like to have the GMAT waiver. We'll get back to you within 1 or 2 days. So you can rest assured and don't have to spend time preparing for GMAT.
So before starting the application,
Yes,
even the
please.
candidates can reach out and prepare their application, knowing if they need to prepare for the GMAT, your
Yes.
ESMT admission test. Great. And talking about the English test, so what are the most common tests that we accept?
Sure.
Do we accept platforms such as Duolingo, for example? And is there any possibility of an English test waiver as well, since we're talking about waivers?
Sure. I would say in our admission team, we accept, I would say, a lot of English proficiency tests, IELTS, TOEFL, TOEIC, Duolingo tests. However, I think the most popular one would be IELTS. We are looking at a minimum score of 7.0. However, we also have a waiver, Mariana. So here we try to be as flexible as we can. So I think for the waiver, if you um, have the following criteria, I think first of all, if you're a native English speakers, that's very straightforward. You don't have to submit any English proficiency test. Or if you studied in English program or in an English speaking country during your bachelor or master, we also have that waiver available. And the last one, which I think is pretty interesting for all of you who are already using English at workplace, we also kind of like trust that you already have proficiency. So if you already use English at work for more than 1 year, you can just tick in your application form like, hey, I'm confident with my English. I use English at work. And that's it. Like we trust you on that because every applications will have the online admission interview, and that's also the place where we could test your English proficiency test. English proficiency.
Thank you very much. And now a question about letters of recommendation. So how many are needed and who you do propose to ask? So what is your recommendation? Like who should they ask? Who should a candidate ask for a letter of recommendation?
Sure. We need 2 recommendation letters. We're quite strict about that you need to hit 2 letters. However, it's quite flexible in terms of who you ask for. For example, it can be your previous company or it can be your current company. Okay, so it can be 2 from the current company or 1 from the current one or 1 from the previous one. It's totally okay. And I think most of the time what we see is that the letters are coming from maybe the line manager or supervisor who really know your tasks and your roles. However, we also accept colleagues that you are working closely with. However, what we don't accept is recommendation letters coming from university. For example, we don't accept that you go back to your university and ask your professor to write your recommendation letters, except that your current role is actually in academic. Of course, then it makes sense because then that's your workplace. So yeah, we try to make sure that what we receive is professional recommendation letters.
Thank you very much. And now talking a little bit about not only the GMAT and the English test, but overall, is there a possibility that a candidate can check their profile before applying with the admissions team?
Definitely, yes. Yeah, you can reach out to our admission team or me as well. And we also have a very dedicated form that you can fill in your name and also you can upload your CV and we'll get back to you right away, like, hey, you're eligible or not. Because I think when we say 3 years postgraduate work experience, some cases can be quite tricky. Like, if you start working early before you get your degree or something like that, or maybe by the application deadline, you still haven't reached your 3 years yet, but you still have like 2 or 3 months left, something like that. So this kind of thing, always just check with us. We try to give you as a clear answer as fast as we can.
Yes, the more information, the better, I would say. So if you
Definitely,
can
yes.
reach out with your CV, academic transcripts, all the information that you have on your background. We offer 2 possibilities. We have the profile check on our website. You can fill in the form, or you can also apply for a one-to-one consultation. This is a short call that you can directly ask one of the admissions team colleagues to reply to your questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Now, there is a question about the round one of application that I quite didn't get what the candidate is asking. So is the application providing only the possibility for the 6K reduction, or is it definitely awarded when applying before 10th of February? Can you
Sure.
clarify that?
I think I get the question. So I think the policy is very straightforward. So if you apply before 10th of February, you'll get this, like, guarantee. We don't look at anything else. It's just that you submit it on this time, you get it. However, what my understanding to your question is that, can you also get other scholarship as well? So I think this is maybe the question. So the answer is yes. So this is something that you can get automatically. However, if you also apply for other scholarship, another scholarship that you'll get will be on top of this early bird discount. So yeah, I think this is my understanding to the questions that you will definitely get, and for sure 100% if you, for example, pass all the criteria and you apply within 10 February's, plus on top another scholarships if you apply for one.
Great, thank you. Yeah, talking a little bit about now the awards and scholarships. What is the difference between the award and the scholarship? If the student can get one, more than one, and if there's a possibility to say how likely it is for them to get a scholarship. Can you
Sure.
somehow give us more information about the financing part of the application?
Yes. Can I share my screen, Mariana, quickly?
Yes, of course.
Sure. Then you see my screen, right? The scholarship page.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's a bit small, so if you can, yeah,
right.
maximize the screen, that would be great.
Right. Okay, so there's two types of, I would say, like, tuition fee reductions that you can get here with us for part-time MBA. The first type would say like awards, and the second type is scholarship. Those are different because they can be combined. For example, let's say that I'm the very early applicants. I apply within 10 of February, within round one, so I get the 6,000 euro right away off my tuition fee. However, for the award, we also have a rules that you can apply for multiple awards at the same time. If I somehow have a very good GMAT score, I also get another 1,000 euro off my tuition fees. So these two awards can be combined, okay? And let's talk about scholarships. So we have, I would say, around 6 scholarships available. So you can apply within your application form. And even though it's the same case, I already get 2 awards, like early birds and also test score excellence. And then let's say I apply for future leader, another 4,000. So this can be combined. So scholarship can be combined with the awards. However, you cannot get multiple scholarships. So I think that's the rules for us here. I hope it's clear. If not, then you can always ask me for more questions and clarification.
Sure. Yeah, so basically awards you get automatically if you meet certain criteria. Scholarships, you need to apply for them. Scholarships, you can only get one, but you can apply for multiple to increase your chances. And awards, then you can get more awards depending on if you fill in the criteria for the award. Great. Yeah. Understood. Thank you very much. Now back to recommendation letters. I think this is a topic that a lot of people don't know exactly how to proceed with that.
Sure.
So is it possible to send it as a signed PDF instead of sending the form that we have available in the admissions portal? And is there a standard format to follow? So if you are going to ask your supervisor, oh, I'm applying for an MBA, I need a recommendation letter. Is there any tips that the candidate can give to the supervisor in terms of what they need to write in the letter?
Sure. So we accept two types of recommendation letters. The first one is the traditional one that you go ask your supervisor, like, hey, I'm applying for MBA. Can you write me recommendation letters? You can do that, and it can be digital. Your supervisor can write in PDF and sign off online. You upload this PDF into our application form. That's it. Is there a standard form to follow? I would say no. However, there are certain details that you need to tell your referees to include. For example, it needs to be clear your relationship between you two, like that you are in the team or something like that. Your roles need to be clearly defined, like what kind of like your task is or something like that. And the rest is pretty much free flow according to whatever your referee thinks. And but we need that to an important part of information. However, if you feel like, hey, Sarah, my supervisor or my colleagues are extremely busy, they don't know what to write, they don't want to write like these letters, what you can do is that you can start your application, and in the recommendation letter section, you can just fill in your referee name and email and click the button send. So what we're going to do is that we're going to send the email on behalf of you, like on from ESMT directly to your referee inbox, and like, hey, this guy and this ladies has applied for ESMT Berlin. Can you help us fill the form? And usually it's take around like 5 to 10 minutes. There are like multiple choices for them to take, and there are a few questions that they have to answer. So usually, for me, it's a bit less compared to writing recommendation letter. However, it depends on your relationship, right? For example, if you're like go to work every day, you see your boss every day, you have like a very close relationship, then of course asking for this proper letter would be easier. However, we evaluate both types of letters the same. We don't have preference.
Great, thank you very much. Now talking a little bit about the difference between the programs, especially during the application process. I think there are a lot of candidates that are still researching the different formats of
Sure.
programs. One of the questions is if there's any difference in terms of how much knowledge you get from a part-time program in comparison to the full-time program. And then a follow-up question, can you apply for the part-time, for example, and before the class starts, if you by any chance change your mind and decide to move to a full-time or the global online MBA, can they change the program after the application? Do they need to start a new application? How does it work with if they change their minds?
Sure. Yes, I would like to answer the second question first. For example, let's say you're applying for part-time now, like for now, and then maybe in June or July, you feel like, no, I want to change to global online MBA or full-time MBA. Of course, the first thing is the timeline. So we want to see whether it's matching or not. For example, if you want to start your part-time MBA in September, you change your mind, then maybe it's still okay. You switch to global online MBA, which start a bit later in October. So I think that case makes sense. Or full-time, which is going to be in the next January. So I think we have to consider a timeline. But normally, we do allow that case by case, and you don't need to start employer application once again. So what we do is that, yeah, we review again, and we might want to call you up and just ask you a few questions. That's all. But yeah, normally you don't have to reapply it again. And yeah, there's a possibility that you can switch between different programs. And back to the first questions, very interesting. Um, I think you would learn the same thing. You acquire the same knowledge, because if you look at the modules, it's pretty much the same. And also our faculties member are also the same. So like you're gonna receive the same, I would say, like foundations and the business knowledge and management knowledge. However, I think in the full-time maybe there's a bit more opportunities in terms of internship. You can do internship and you can do certain projects during those kind of like summer break. And also the difference I think is at the final project, because for the full-time MBA, you actually need to work as a pro bono consultant for a real project for a real company based in Germany and in Europe for 2 or 3 months. However, in your part-time MBA program, you actually need to bring your own project from your workplace and have it as your project. So you can see now, like for the full-time MBA, maybe they can already take this kind of project as their springboard to their maybe future employments after graduation. So I think this is kind of like, for me, it's a big element between full-time and the part-time MBA.
Thank you very much. And now back to the financing part. So
Yes.
awards and scholarship
Yeah.
and the application process. Can you walk us through the application process in terms of, okay, you submit the application, how long will it take for you to get the interview? And then after this, how long would you get an answer about your offer in the program? And also about information about the awards and scholarships. When will you know if you get any award or scholarship?
Sure. So let's take a step back a little bit first. So in terms of intake, in terms of rounds. So for part-time MBA, we have a round application. So we have 4 rounds. So I mean, theoretically, we wait until the end applications and then we review. However, we tend to do much earlier. For example, let's say if the first round is actually 10th of February, of course, we're gonna start processing, look at your application in January already. However, I think for the first round, we receive a lot. You might expect that to get back to you after 10th of February. However, for other rounds, we tend to process the application much faster than the deadline. However, yeah, just to bear in mind that there's a 4-round application in which different, I would say early bird awards is like the value is different. So before you submit application, first of all, if you feel like, hey, I have a STEM background, I think this is the first step is that you reach out to us, to me, to admission team, and have it clear so that you can plan your application. Because I think if you somewhat are not qualified for the GMAT waiver, GMAT or our own admission test called BAT will pretty much take some time to prepare. So I think let's start with this GMAT thing. Like let's check with us. If you don't need that, that's fine. You can start the application right away. If not, then maybe you have to spend, I would say, like 3 or 4 weeks having having the test done, and then you can start application. So what happened if you're submitted? Usually we take around like 2 weeks to process your application and invite you for the interview. And this is gonna happen very quick. So when we feel like you're past all the criteria, we invite you for the interview for the next week. And the interview process is gonna be around 30 minutes. And it's gonna be online, very, I would say casual, but professional setting. And after that, usually 2 weeks afterwards, we'll get back to you and give you the result, whether you're admitted to our programs or not. And the scholarship part comes in. So I would like to mention that the entire scholarship application flow is the same as the MBA application flow. So what does it mean is that during your MBA applications, I think you have to already tick and choose what types of scholarship you want to apply within your application. You cannot do it afterwards. All right. So it has to happen at the same time. And when we do the interview, when we evaluate your whole application, we also gonna consider your scholarship as well. And also once we let you know, like, hey, you are admitted to our program, we also let you know which types of awards you get, what types of scholarship you get, and what would be your final tuition fees. So the entire process will happen at the same time. So once you receive the offer letter from us, you can make your decision much easier because you already know that, okay, I get this amount of scholarship.
Great, thank you very much. Very useful information for all the applicants. And I would say if you're planning to apply for any award or scholarship, the rule is the earlier, the better.
Yeah.
So
First come,
prepare
first serve.
your, yes, exactly.
Yes.
So prepare your application as soon as you have all the documents. And also when it comes to informing your employer, also the earlier the better,
Yeah.
because if you are asking for any support and financing, then they will be in the loop. They will be able to offer you more information. And once you get accepted into the program, then you can agree on the financing part with your employer and then have everything ready in terms of financing. So we just finished our 30 minutes. I have one last question before we wrap up. Is it
Sure.
possible to finish the degree in less than 2 years?
No. The answer is no, because the program is very structured. You start together with your classmates. you finish together with classmates. So yeah, unfortunately, no. But the good news is that we kind of like make sure that with these 2 years, you have enough time to also sustain your full-time employment while completing your MBA program. So we try to make sure that it doesn't really require too much of your work time.
Yeah, basically we thought about reducing the time, but either we would reduce in quality of the knowledge that you get during the program, which is definitely something that we don't want and the students don't want as well, or it would be a lot of workload on top of your current job. So this is the 2 years is actually the middle ground that you can still have top quality education while having a work-life balance on top of your studies. So that's the reason why. But I can guarantee from hearing from the students that 2 years actually fly by. So
Yes,
enjoy while it lasts. Thank you very much, Sira, for your time and
my pleasure.
for the information. And yeah, if you're interested in learning more, please feel free to reach out to us via email. You have the contact information on our website. And thank you very much for joining us today. Have a nice afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye.